There is a new media narrative emerging by President Trump. Aside from his handling of the hurricane, I don't necessarily agree with it, but it's kind of inescapable at this point. And it's that his top deputies are rolling him, are distancing themselves, are openly defying him with the words that they are speaking in public. So if you haven't been following this carefully, or you're more focused on the incredibly catastrophic flooding in the Houston area, this storyline kind of began with Rex Tillerson on Fox News Sunday, Secretary of State, saying the president speaks for himself in talking about this sort of fallout after Charlottesville. Chris Wallace asked him, are you putting some distance between yourself and the president? And he just said he is offering the State Department position. Then you had Gary Cohn, we've talked about that before, chief economic advisor, obviously was disturbed about the president's handling of the Charlottesville mess. And gave an interview to the Financial Times in which he said the administration can and must do better in consistently and unequivocally condemning these groups, the hate groups. Hasn't paid a penalty for that. And then there's the Pentagon chief, Jim Mattis, defense secretary, a little bit different here because he was addressing some troops in a video that made its way to Facebook, so he didn't necessarily intend for this to become public, and he told these troops that they need to hold the line, that America needs to get its power of inspiration back. And Mattis said, our country right now, it's got problems we don't have in the military. You just hold the line until our country gets back to understanding and respecting each other. And also Mattis has been doing a couple of things in what's either a good cop, bad cop routine with the president, or just undermining him to some degree. So, for example, the president comes out and says he's done talking to North Korea in the face of these nuclear threats. And Mattis responds by saying diplomacy is always available. Mattis also seems to be slow-walking just a bit the president's proposed transgender ban, the ban on transgender people serving in the military. Now, my view of this is, it could be seen as a sign of confidence that the president is giving his top aides some leeway to speak their mind. They don't, in his view, have to agree with them on everything. I mean, he's perfectly capable of getting rid of any of them. He doesn't particularly like firing people, despite his image from The Apprentice. But he also has to weigh, even if he's annoyed, and it's been reported he has been frustrated with some of these comments, what the reaction would be if he did fire the Secretary of State or the Secretary of Defense. How long would it take to get a new replacement confirmed by the Senate and all of that? But I've talked to Trump allies who feel that this is absolute insubordination by these top officials, that they should have, or some of them should have been fired immediately, especially you hear this about Tillerson. And then it reflects a weakened position by the president that he doesn't want to take them on right now, or, have this additional headache, which would obviously be caused. But, what if he thinks they're doing a good job? What if he thinks Tillerson and Mattis are doing a good job running state and the Pentagon, and he doesn't want to let them go just over, one issue or one particular disagreement? On the other hand, this president has not shown any hesitation to criticize cabinet members. You remember the tweets about Jeff Sessions that many people thought were an effort to get Sessions to quit. Sessions didn't, but maybe that sent a signal that you can hang on even if you do defy the president. All in all, it's an extraordinary situation, and it says, I don't think this is just a media-generated story, although it is becoming a media narrative. 3 examples, that makes a trend. But if this continues, obviously some critics and even those who support the president and think he shouldn't put up with this will raise the question, how much leeway does a cabinet officer or a senior White House advisor get to challenge the president and still somehow be useful on the presidential payroll?